Hello, my loves. So, I am going to be doing a reading today, but this might just end up turning into a rant. And it's kind of just that, with my page and stuff like that, I'm trying to be as authentic as possible with who I am and my journey and all that type of stuff. And I feel like this last month and a half, it's been so much emotional and spiritual, even physical purging, that it has left me questioning everything. And I've come to some conclusions over the last couple of days about certain parts of myself that I don't even know how to feel about it. So I guess I'm just sharing that, seeing what comes up in the cards and stuff like that. But pretty much one of the big things is no one taught me to nurture my spiritual gift. No one taught me I had a spiritual gift. This was all navigating it myself. No one taught me how to go through a dream interpretation, and for the fact that my dreams feel so real all the time, it makes it that much harder to process things and come to the messages that I need to come to. You know, the King of Wands. For the past 5 years, where I took a role of active healing, and I stopped being in relationships just to be in relationships, and just work on myself and work through all of the healing I needed to work through, going into my hermit mode and stuff like that. I started having dreams about this guy, and he always had the same energy, but I had asked his name for months to try and get to figure out what his name was. At first, I could only really get that his name started with an M. And then at one point, he had said his name was Michael. And as of the last month or so, when he first started showing up, he started showing up as this guy I had a crush on when I was in 5th grade. His name was Malcolm. And over the years, I've seen him a couple of times, not in person, but just on social media, or they had some sort of magazine when he was in football. I had seen him there, and each time I was damn, he's just gotten hotter. But anyways, in the last month or two, it's there hasn't been an answer to what his name was. 4 of Wands. And the last couple of days, I've been thinking of the fact that, a couple of things. For one thing, I had a reading done by somebody, and they had told me that in this life, the last time I was living a life, I took somebody's fate from them or something like that, and I cursed myself when it comes to love. So if love is to come into my life this time, I'm not allowed to know anything about it. So I think that is a key part of it. But also the other key part of it is right now we are in Chiron retrograde, which has to do with spiritual beliefs, clarity, trust, all this type of stuff. It's a big spiritual detox. And I think what I've come to is when he comes up, like, he's been coming up in different forms, but always the same energy. And it's been like that for years. And the last, like, month or two, sometimes he comes as M, sometimes he comes as Michael, and sometimes he comes as Malcolm. I think that they're all the same person because they're all the collective energy of the divine masculine. And it shows, I guess, key importances that I need, or like that my soul has called to, of what I need in a relationship. I'm going to pause this real quick. So for example, if he shows up as M, that is just speaking to the divine masculine collective. If he comes up as Michael, and this came from like a dream that I just had like a couple of hours ago, he shows up as my protector, but also a mirror of myself. So it's sometimes him teaching me the lessons that I need to, not necessarily that I want to, and like guiding me through that. If he shows up as Malcolm, I'm guessing that calls to my inner child. And what is it called? Like, it calls to that like joy and playful love and stuff like that. We have, go figure, the Lover's card and the Two of Swords. But I've never really been one for pride, but it's been hard to navigate all of this because it feels like the last 2 months it's been every single bit and piece you could possibly think of that has to do with core wounds have just been coming up and either needing to be healed or needing to be closed out. I'm exhausted, and I have never felt more alone right now. And I know that, like, if I'm coming on here, I should, be clear-minded, and I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just showing that it's not always clear. Healing is not always clear, and it doesn't always feel good. In fact, I think a lot of the time it doesn't feel good. I am going to go to a part 2 where I'm actually reading the cards and stuff like that, but we have the Tower moment, the Nine of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. But I don't know. I guess this is just me showing, like, if you're going through it with everything being cleared out and having to process a lot, and you don't know how to navigate this, and you don't really have anybody to talk to about this, you're not alone. I'm here. There are other people probably going through it as well. So yeah. On a bigger note, I'm working through creating a dream journal right now and creating another book, and hopefully getting out of the job that I'm in now to be somewhere where I actually feel like I'm making a difference and creating purpose for myself. So, I mean, just gotta keep going, I guess. There's not really anything else that I can do about any of this. So that's just what I'm doing. We have called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. Here's the other card. Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. Let me see if I can pull one more before the timer goes out, and then I'll go to part 2 to integrate all these cards together. Lost Lands, Soul Memories and Gifts. You've done this before. Go to part 2 if you want to see the reading.